I also want to thank everyone for coming out tonight, for holding this forum. It's a great opportunity to show patriotism and what we feel about this country, and I appreciate very much the Tea Party movement and what you're doing, and all the people that helped put this together. Now, with regard to the illegal aliens that are in this country, I think that we need to start enforcing the laws that we have on the books right now, and we need to start identifying who these people are. We need to dry up the jobs, because what's really happening is that they're taking jobs away from U.S. citizens. And that's what we have to do. We have to go, and we have to start with something like E-Verify, which is a program. It's got some faults with it, but it is a way to identify whether or not a person is a legal resident of the United States when they're here. And we not only have to worry about those that are here, that came across the border, but the visitors. We lose track of the visitors, the people who come here under visitors' passes, and then the government loses track of them. We need to start tracking those people who come here as visitors and find out where they are and make sure that they adhere to their pass and they go back to their country when their time is up. Now, this is an economic issue. It affects many, many things in this country. And if we can get our handle on all the people that are here illegally and enforce the laws, and I think it needs to start at the local level by giving the local police departments and sheriff departments the authority to enforce these laws. Right now, they won't enforce them because what are they going to do? The federal government's not going to back them up, and they're not going to deport these people. So what would they do? Just fill up their local jails with them? We've seen, I'm on the Board of Supervisors in Albemarle County. We've seen Prince William County has done something to start tightening up their laws and start identifying people who are in this country illegally when they commit crime. And that's another thing that's going on. A great deal of crime is created by people who are in this country illegally. Now, they enforce some local laws up there, and they've reduced their crime rate by 20%. I think that's a starting place, and certainly we need to do something about this serious, serious problem. Thank you. Thank you. I've actually had some experience with that because I do have core principles, which include a lot of the things that you heard earlier identified by the Tea Party. I believe very much in personal property rights. I certainly believe in individual responsibilities. I believe in smaller government, and I believe we've got to reduce the spending that's going on. In my county right now, we're going through a very difficult time because we're going to have to cut our budget. We're going to have to cut some spending there. That's a core principle of mine. A lot of my constituents are very concerned at what we're going to do to the education system because of that. And here's a perfect example of this that I've had experience in dealing with. Certainly, if I go to Washington, I'm going to represent the people of the 5th District. But there will be differences of opinion on both sides of every issue. We see people that actually support the healthcare system and think that's right. They're telling Tom Perriello that's what he ought to do. That's something he would not do. I would not go with those people who wanted that done because I would go with the core principles. I think it's important when you all decide on who you're going to send to Washington that you understand what these people's core principles are, because that's what they're going to follow. And again, I can tell you that I have a demonstrated record that you can look at where I've reduced spending in government, I've reduced the size of government, and that's been at great peril too because I've gone through very tough races where the people who have tried to use that against me, tried to say because we cut spending, not for teachers but for administrative costs, that was a bad thing because I voted against an education budget. So they'll try and demonize you for doing that, but I always stuck to my principles, and I've always done that in my career as a legislator. Thank you. I think that probably everybody in this room feels that you should be good stewards of our environment. I myself, I compost, I recycle everything that I can. I have rain barrels on my roof that I capture water that I use in my garden. And these are good, solid science things that we can do. I have energy efficient house and windows and doors in my house. This is real things that we ought to be doing as a country to protect our environment. Now, let's talk about ClimateGate, because that's what it is, ClimateGate. I think this is very unsettled science. And I say it's unsettled because there's nothing really that's been proved that we have man-made global warming. In fact, the reason I think we've changed the term for global warming to climate change is because it can't be supported. Now, what we've got to do, this would be an absolute job killer if we were to pass the cap and trade. And if we were to live by climate gate and take that and say that this is the way we want to do business here in the country, what would that do to Southwest Virginia, to the clean coal energy down there, if we were to pass cap and trade? That's the last thing that we need in this 5th district, is anything that's going to take more jobs away from us or increase the cost of businesses doing business in the 5th district. I absolutely think that we ought to ignore what is going on with Climate Gate. We need to stand up as citizens and say, this is not good science, it's unsettled science, and we shouldn't be basing what we're going to do in this country or any type of legislation on that. We need to concentrate on creating jobs, and we'll do that with energy efficiency and the kinds of things that I mentioned before. Thank you.